All right. Okay, so we're going full authentic scruff today. I think it's been a while since I showed my face around these parts. So I thought I would. I'm not usually in the normal office where I work, so I figured I would just do this off the cuff. I wanted to talk about Fantastic Four. So obviously, Superman is out now, or will be officially released everywhere tomorrow. But a number of prominent critics and reviewers and people that you and I would follow have seen it. I have not seen it yet, unfortunately. But response has been mostly good, I think. Although I am getting the impression from what a lot of people are saying is the window is open. It's very hot, so apologies for the traffic going by. But anyway, it does seem like it's probably going to divide the fan base a little bit. Some people are very happy with how comic booky it is and how authentic James Gunn's interpretation is. Other people not happy that there's too much James Gunn type humor, which I would argue is really just stock standard Joss Whedon humor that we've had for a number of years now, where all tension has to be undercut with a joke and lots of irony and everything, which I think is unfortunate. I don't even want to look out the window to see what that was. But anyway, hopefully it'll pass soon enough. Okay, whatever. We're just going to carry on. I wanted to talk about a video, a very good stream over on Film Threat, which I think you should check out. I will include it linked below. And they were talking about Fantastic Four. And because I get the impression that Superman is going to be the better of the two films. We could be wrong, but we'll see about that. But I do get the impression Superman's going to be the better of the two. And Fantastic Four just lacks a certain sense of... It doesn't feel like, it's authentically true, as true to the comic books as James Gunn's Superman is going to be. I need to stop calling it James Gunn's Superman. Just call it Superman, James Gunn's Superman, also known as Superman. And one of the things that they talked about in the discussion was a scene that was released, the dinner table scene where they find out that Sue is pregnant, and it's just no emotional impact. You've probably seen this scene, and it's not funny, it's not joyful or interesting, and the dialogue is really bland, and it just kind of feels awkward and lifeless. There's this kind of tension in the scene, and it's almost like the actors are like, "Is this seriously our dialogue? This is what we have to work with." And I don't know if it's like a direction, if it's a direction issue, or, and again, because it's out of context, we don't really know, or if it's some other problem just with the scene itself. But we'll see. Anyway, either way, this led them into the discussion, and there's something that Dante James pointed out, which I agree with, which is that there's too many trailers for movies these days. So you get a teaser trailer, you get a bunch of teaser trailers, then you get a bunch of theatrical trailers, you get clips released, you get TV spots, you get international trailer, all this sort of stuff, and it's probably too much. Now, I understand why this has happened, because we don't live in the 90s or early 2000s anymore. We live at a time of social media and smartphones where there's an insatiable desire for more and more and more content, and so studios feel the need that they have to meet that. They feel that if they don't constantly remind people by filling up their feeds with new content about the movie and hashtags and everything, if they're not constantly engaging with audiences with new content, that people will just forget that the film exists and not bother going to see it. So yeah, that's probably the issue. Lower attention spans, so that we just get more trailers as a result. But there is a balance to be struck. Maybe 2 teaser trailers and 1 decent theatrical trailer would be enough. But I don't agree with releasing scenes from films beforehand as part of the marketing. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think audiences should be bombarded, because if your trailers work and you convince me to watch your film, don't talk me out of it. You might talk me out of it. You might give me a reason not to go. You might give me a reason to change my mind. And I don't think that's a good thing. Because when clips are released for films, they can't show you the really important scenes, the really good stuff, usually. They have to hold those back for the film, obviously. So they tend to show people scenes that are not as important. And as a result, they may not be all that interesting. And that's the reason why. It's not going to be as exciting as a trailer. Trailers, if done right, can be very exciting. Also, trailers are too long these days. It's 4-minute trailer stuff, 3-minute trailer stuff, even anything over 2.5 minutes. 2 minutes tops. 90 seconds, I think, was the way to go. Am I going to get demonetized for that music just going by in that car? Um, so that's the situation. It's almost like studios kind of get a bit nervous that if they don't, people might forget their movies, so they have to keep churning out the content. But one of the things that came up in the discussion as well was obviously Mr. Fantastic, played by Pedro Pascal. And we know that Sue Storm is going to be sort of the de facto leader, pretty much, of the group, which is definitely a change in the dynamic of Fantastic Four, and again, a divergence from the source material. So it does look like there's going to be a bit of emasculation of the content. And as someone he's supposed to be the primary character, I don't think that's good for Mr. Fantastic, but it may be quite a bad thing for the film. And again, we don't need more sort of effeminate male leads in movies anymore. We certainly don't need any more MCU, but we'll see. Maybe it won't be that bad. Maybe it'll be sort of benign enough. But anyway, I wanted to look at this article from That Park Place. Pedro Pascal says he loves being led by powerful women as Sue Storm takes the lead in Marvel's Fantastic Four. It says Marvel's The Fantastic Four First Steps isn't just reimagining its team dynamics. It may also be a reflection of its lead actor's real-world mindset. Pedro Pascal, who plays Reed Richards in the upcoming MCU reboot, is no stranger to playing second banana to powerful women. He praised his co-star Vanessa Kirby in a recent Collider interview with comments that have already sparked widespread discussion. And he says, "I love being led in a way," Pascal said when asked about working opposite Kirby. "What you may identify as generosity for me, it just isn't. I'm only inspired by, I guess, that powerful women have been the thing that has gotten me through being alive." All right. So to have the opportunity to stand by one, to learn from one, oh God. These are just such beta remarks. Just a partner, it's partnership, it's male and female, but it's also just a kind of transcendent sort of partnership in the work and the characters. And so I don't really know what the F I'm going to do without you, Vanessa, honestly. That doesn't sound so great to me. These are not like, this is not selling the movie in to any great degree, you know. There's been a lot of marketing material, a lot of trailers. It's starting to sort of get to a stage where you're like, is this all they have? It does feel like we've seen everything that they might have. And then you throw this into the mix. And there's something else to discuss as well. This movie, they've talked about this for ages. We're going to add in the Fantastic Four to the MCU. It's going to be a big milestone. They're going to have this big impact. And yet, the 2005 and 2007 films were okay. The 2007 film wasn't good, right? But the 2005 film was all right. And the 2015 film, the less said, the better. So you've had 3 attempts already. There's been 3 attempts at Fantastic Four on, well, technically 4 if you include the one from the 90s that was never released. It was never meant to be released. But it's never really worked on screen. And if this doesn't work, the MCU is in serious trouble, because this film really needs to make $1 billion, not just in order to probably make a decent profit or anything, but it needs to relaunch the MCU in a major way. This is supposed to be the one that excites interest in the next phase, and leading into Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. I know there's a Spider-Man movie in between those, but certainly for Doomsday. And what are we most excited about, or we're supposed to be excited about? Maybe we're not excited about it, but what are they trying to get people amped up for? The return of Robert Downey Jr. But here's the thing. Obviously, Doom is a character in the Fantastic Four world. But does anybody really want to see Robert Downey Jr. play Doctor Doom? It's not that people are excited to see him play Doom. It's that they're excited for him to come back because they hope that through some contrivance, he will once again be Tony Stark Iron Man. That's what they want. They want, when you strip it all back, when you strip it all the way back, what people really want is the return of Tony Stark, Iron Man. So that's why they want Robert Downey Jr. And really what they want is the return of the core 6 Avengers. Tell me I'm wrong. That's what they really want. You could say even in Phase 3, things were starting to become a little unwieldy. Now, I like the first Doctor Strange, but I don't think it was necessary for his character to enter the MCU. I like Benedict Cumberbatch as the character. The film wasn't bad at all. The second one was terrible. Tom Holland's Spider-Man film, Homecoming, that was good. Wasn't really necessary for his character to enter the MCU. They could have done the Infinity Saga without him. You had the Guardians of the Galaxy, fine. Ant-Man, that worked. Black Panther, nah, I never got into it. Didn't like either film really. First one was all right. Second one, cure for insomnia. And then of course the less said about what happened in Phase 4, the better. But just the first 3 phases, and then of course Captain Marvel didn't need that either, right? So now they've brought in the Fantastic Four into the MCU, and they thought that this is going to be it. But this has been a separate kind of universe in itself, and the MCU has gotten on quite well without having to do this. And you're bringing in characters who we've seen 3 times in cinema already, and it never really worked, in a live action capacity. But if you go back to those early 2000s films, what was working at that time? Spider-Man, X-Men, of course. Not long after, you had the first, on the DC side, you had Batman Begins, first Christopher Nolan Batman film, the Dark Knight trilogy. So that's kind of the landscape at the time. And the Fantastic Four films were among the weaker superhero films, franchise films at the time. And this is what they're sort of banking on to turn things around. And at the end of the day, First Steps is really it's just a filler movie. It's just a film to build a little bit of momentum towards what is supposed to be this big 2-part Infinity type saga, right? It's supposed to be comparable to Infinity War and Endgame, but they haven't spent as much time building to that. They had 3 phases to build towards Thanos originally in the MCU with the Infinity Saga, and they've been doing that, for several years, basically 10 years, and now they're having to do it all basically in one because they set some stuff up. Post-credit scene, Captain America, Brave New World, post-credit scene, Thunderbolts. It's too little, too late, I think. And this film is supposed to be the bridge movie that everyone goes, okay, we watch Fantastic Four, and then we get the good stuff. We get rewarded for this, right? So I feel it's just a bridge movie. It's just a stepping stone. It's a first step to what people are really looking forward to, which isn't even the return of Robert Downey Jr. as into the franchise and playing Doom. They don't care about Doom. What they want is Robert Downey Jr. to come back as Iron Man somehow. They want Tony Stark. And what they really want then, coupled with that, is can we just get the core 6 back? Get the band back together. Scarlett Johansson says she's not returning. Okay. I don't know what that was. It was enormous again. So anyway, but that's it, isn't it? They just get the band back together. Let's just go back to what worked. Revert to type. Just give us the original 6. All the other characters that have come in over the years, they're great, but we don't really need them. The original 6, I personally, I would have been happy with another standalone Avengers movie that wasn't Infinity War or Endgame. I think they could have done another one, but with the closest we got to that, of course, was Avengers 2.5, Captain America Civil War. But I think that's what they want. That's the nostalgia that, audiences would prefer them to tap into. But yeah, this film, kind of misplaced, I think, and characters that people are not really that excited for. And yeah, it's just looking, I agree with the guys on Film Thread. It's not looking like it's going to be what they want it to be. We're getting a lot of material, a lot of stuff like pops up in my YouTube feed of some new marketing content. It's too much. I'm already going to watch it because it's what I do. I review films. I'm not really that interested in seeing this film, and I could take it or leave it. But we'll see. Maybe it'll be a surprise, but I just get this feeling it's just going to be a damp squib and it's not really going to land. But I could be eating my words in a few weeks' time. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Take care, and I will see you next time.